Okay. So I'm doing a coloring tutorial, but I'm starting with a digital sketch because on the copy paper that I like to use, it's good to not have a bunch of like erased sketches. So I'm just going to be kind of tracing over this. And I took a bunch of the requests and combined them into one request. The little scene. So because my tablet screen is backlit, I can kind of trace over this. So one person said Banjo and Kazooie as Animal Crossing characters, and another person requested Isabelle, and another person requested KK Slider. So I was like, well, that kind of all goes together. So I kind of combined them into this little island concert. Although drawing rare characters as Animal Crossing characters was kind of like a little stylistic challenge, but it was fun. I don't know if I quite have the Animal Crossing style nailed down. But I've been I recently drew some of my original characters as Animal Crossing animals, so you know, it's a theme. I'm sure a lot of people have been doing that lately, since it's kind of keeping people sane. And I might not stick entirely with these lines, but it was helpful for me to trace the sketch portion, because I tend to change my compositions a lot and move things around while I'm getting a feel for it, and that can make pages really messy. I do tend to redo drawings a lot as I'm working on them. So I'll try to keep my hands out of the way of what I'm doing. Another person requested Gino, so that was fun because I love Super Mario RPG, as I'm sure a lot of people who follow Fangamer stuff do. I actually haven't had a KK Slider concert at my island yet. I'm very slow when I play stuff, and I kind of take everything at my own pace, which I guess Animal Crossing is a really perfect game for. But, you know, I see people with their, like, super fancy islands. I'm like, I'll get there someday. What music is playing on the island concert? I actually don't know any KK Slider songs because I haven't had a concert yet. So feel free to imagine your favorite, but maybe some. Is there a Aloha song, like Hawaiian vibes? Anytime someone asks for like drawings with a musical instrument, sometimes it can feel like a trap, because if you don't do it right, a lot of times people are like, you made a mistake here. Like, I don't know. I've never played an instrument before, besides like clarinet in 4th grade, and I was really bad at it. So if I messed up guitar position, I'm sorry. It's got a little tail. Oh yeah, Nina says I have a lot of flowers on my island. That's very true. It's a big focus of mine, because I like flowers in real life too. I don't have as many flowers in real life as I used to, because I moved and my garden was at my old house. But I'll start gardening at our new house again someday. Maybe someday when I don't have a 15-month-old baby in our yard all the time. Which is going to be in maybe, I don't know, a couple years. So there's Kazooie. I like the little cheeks that the bird characters have in Animal Crossing, but she doesn't have any marks like that, so I'll just give her a little blush. At my current house, the only flowers I have growing are, I have some Mojave sage, which is blooming right now. It'll bloom all summer. And a lot of like potted plants, cactus flowers, of course, because I live in Tucson. Those are more of a spring blooming plant though. But prickly pear have very beautiful flowers. And we also have these plants here. I don't think they're native, but they grow all over, called Hesper aloe, which have really cool, like, flower stalks that come out at this time. But I could talk about plants a lot. And I usually do if anyone gives me the opportunity, so, you know, watch out. place in there with a island. All right. Take all this stuff out of the way. So now I just have the sketch. Let me get that so you guys can actually see it. And get my markers down. I'm gonna go over, see if anything looks kind of weird once it's sketched. But this is gonna be a really, loose drawing anyway, since I don't have a super long time. And one thing that's neat about Copic markers is that you can kind of just go over pencil lines, and it doesn't really smudge unless your pencil lines are very heavy, which is another reason that I traced this. So I was able to use really light lines. And of course you can use ink over, or Copic markers or over ink too, which, I think most people do more, but I like the light look of using pencil. Especially colored pencil looks really cool over a Copic marker because it has like just a really nice texture, but I'm not doing that today. I'm just gonna go straight over these pencil lines. After these slight corrections. But I probably am going to use colored pencil once I have some colors down to add texture. And I usually kind of move my paper around a lot while I'm drawing. One reason is because I kind of have a bad hand, so certain angles can kind of irritate that, but I just, I don't know, it also makes it easier. My art history, I think it's the same as a lot of other people's in that I've been drawing forever. I always wanted to be an artist, and I always said I was going to be. And yeah, I went to school for it. But I drew comics for a long time, and I still do, but I don't put them up anywhere. just for my own self. But I did go to school for that. I went to the School of Visual Arts in New York City. And Copic marker can kind of look streaky a lot when you're first putting it down, but the more layers you add and the more you kind of go over it, the less streaky it looks. Although this marker is kind of dry, so. And they are refillable though. That's one reason I really like using them, is I don't like stuff that only lasts for a short time. So you can get these, and they're kind of expensive up front, but once you have them, they last forever if you get the refills. But yeah, I was, let's say art history. I was hired by Fangamer in 2012 and I moved to Tucson from New York. And I've done a lot of things that are and are not art at the company. I was the person answering emails for a really long time, along with several others. And I no longer do that most of the time. But I think my first job at the company was folding Double Fine Adventure t-shirts for Kickstarter fulfillment. Which, you know, it was fine. It was a lot of shirts at the time. It was a huge project for Fangamer back then, and it would be considered pretty big now, but we've done larger things since then, like Bloodstained and Mighty No. 9, which were their own adventures. Yeah, another thing about Copics is I go a long time sometimes between using them, so I'm a little rusty right now actually, but I don't really find that they dry up as long as they're stored well, and even if the tip is kind of dry, those are also replaceable, so which is cool for me because I have a pretty heavy hand. I press down really hard sometimes. Keep all my markers in these really loud bins, so if you hear like crashing, it's just the markers going back into the bins. So the background, of course, is really light colors because it's far away. I'm sure you all know that. Gonna do a little reflection of this island and the water here. Before we color the water anymore. And I'll probably leave it like that until more of the foreground is fleshed out. And I usually test colors on, you know, some other corner of the paper. The caps of Copic markers rarely match the color inside for some reason. I'm gonna change that so it's a little my hand wasn't making such a big shadow. I can try to adjust my angle there. And a lot of times I layer colors to, you know, get different hues and also to smooth things out. I've always kind of thought you don't actually need huge sets of these markers because with layering you can make a lot of different colors. Some though, like purples are pretty hard to get. Just like with anything, purple is a difficult color to mix. You really need the actual pigment. And you can make a lot of cool like textured stuff with these markers. That is a Gino. Yeah, I actually think I've seen the way a lot of different people use Copics, and I kind of, when I'm really kind of into it, I kind of use them more like watercolor than like a lot of people use them. I can feel like I kind of really scrub them in to do blending sometimes, and it's more like painting. Or it can feel more like painting. I think there's a lot of new alcohol markers that are coming out that are kind of competing with Copics now that I haven't tried any of them, but I've heard some of them are pretty good. I already have these, so you know, they're what I use. So let's get these bushes over here. Again, sorry if my hand is like covering up everything I'm doing at some points. One thing you kind of don't want to do is stopping for a long time in the middle of an area, because if you let the edges dry, that's kind of how you get a lot of the streaky and overlapping parts. Because they're so easy to layer, they can layer on top of each other and create like streaks where you don't want them. You can usually fix it just by going over the area again. But that's kind of okay in here because I want that sort of bumpy texture from having different leaves and things in here. I don't think that angle was really working. the Copic will kind of fade out the pencil when you're using it if you do try to use that. This happens more with lead pencils than with colored pencils, because colored pencils have a waxy base, but it's kind of what I'm going for here because I want the lines to fade out so I can draw over them later. So it's good that they kind of disappear into the marker. And especially with the style of this drawing, it's very loose, it's very, you know, kind of free. The camera angles are also very loose and free. Oh, I forgot to fix Kazui's foot there. Here we go. And see, it does create that like spot where it overlaps, but you just kind of go over it again. No big deal. Especially if you're adding texture to things later, you can kind of cover up a lot of that if you have to. There's also the Colorless Blender, which can go in and make things a lot smoother, which I might use at some point. And as it dries, it also gets lighter. Certain things kind of blend together more as the ink kind of absorbs into the paper. So I think it's good to kind of give everything a chance to look good until you're done. Don't kind of look at it when you just start and say, oh, this doesn't look like what I want it to, and then give up. Just keep going and see how it turns out. If I could put any character into Animal Crossing, who would it be? Well, my own characters, obviously. But I guess I can already do that. I would want someone like really kind of dark and mysterious, kind of ill-fitting, but so maybe like Dracula. Or like the Phantom of the Opera or something. I like when really evil stuff becomes cute. Vegeta is my favorite Dragon Ball Z character, obviously. I would definitely pick one of the birds. I think the birds are all so cute. Or the anteaters. I like things with long noses, I guess. So if I do this again, I do promise that I will figure out a way to have not a giant shadow over everything. Yes, a pangolin! I love the pangolin. What's their name? I can't remember it. I know there is one. It was very sad in my game. I, for some reason, did not invite Cyrano the anteater to my island, and then the day afterwards, some really gross mouse moved in without even going to my campsite, and I was scandalized. Okay, and I'm gonna go over that with the lighter color to kind of smooth it out. You can also kind of pick up darker colors with the light colors in a way, which is another reason why it reminds me of using watercolor. Oh, Pango makes sense, yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, the music was made by Dylan, who works at Fangamer. He did the music for Nina's stream as well, and I think he kind of used some of the same bits, but made them a little more organic sounding for a real media stream. He also asked for some examples of a vibe, and I just gave him my you know, the not quite lo-fi, lo-fi beats to chill to, but something pretty much like that. Which is what I have on YouTube a lot while I draw. As, you know, along with every other artist in the world. But yeah, it's just really nice, relaxing tunes, Dylan. Thank you. Hopefully watching someone color is also relaxing. We all need that right now. Okay, so I'm gonna start with, I think, Gino in the back there. Gotta find a good Gino color. There we go, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot his little emblem. This is a very juicy marker. I must have just refilled it. Ah! Oh, whoa, okay. Well, well, it's real media, so stuff happens, and I'll figure some way to fix that. That happened. I think that can happen sometimes if you fly with markers. Like they'll get like depressurized, and when you open them again, they explode. So, because that has definitely happened to me before. Though I think the last time I flew was MagFest. No, wait. The last time I flew with markers was MagFest. Yeah, it was too juicy. So, Gino is the same color as the slog. But he won't be. We're gonna fix that. It's gonna have a little bit of lighter tone swept over him. Thank you for recommending Shoujo Sparkles. They fix everything. and I will probably use them. Or at least something like it. He has red eyes. Very orange hair. Kind of eaten by that blob, but we'll figure it out. So just add a little shading here under his cape, and we'll come back to him later. So how about KK now? Use some warm gray markers on him because he's not a robot. He's a puppy. This marker definitely needs to be refilled. Take that Colorless Blender and kind of of course, he looks very weird here without his dark eyebrows. Those. That looks a little bit more like him. Oh, can you hear my cat? Posca markers and Copic markers are really different. I love Posca markers, but they're for a different kind of drawing. They're for like really graphic, like kind of postery, bold, bright drawings, which I love doing. They're more like, I guess, for more designy art than character art. Yeah. But people use them for all kinds of things. That's just how I use them. I did a bunch of drawings of bugs a couple years ago using Posca markers, with kind of funky colors and like artsy varieties of, you know, maybe not what they were actually colored like. It was a lot of fun. So what I do for shading a lot is I'll put a darker color down in like a corner and use the lighter colors to pull it out. Hopefully Coco won't be too loud. My cat, he does like to say hello. He's very friendly. And very noisy. I'm gonna try to lighten this up a little bit. Oh, we'll see. A lot of things while I'm drawing are kind of turn out like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I always try to tell myself, you know, it's okay if things aren't perfect, especially when working with, you know, markers and things. And if it's really important, you fix it later on the computer. There's nothing wrong with doing a digital touch-up of something. So when I shade dark to light, I usually, oh, no, Coco, sorry. Oh my God. Usually start with the darker color and work into the lighter color like that. And then I can also work my way back out. I really need to get an orange refill. But that's okay, because she's not going to be orange, she's going to be red. You can get pretty smooth gradients working like that. They're actually sitting far apart because she was originally a parakeet, which was another request, and I was like, oh, I should make her a kazooie, and that's why they're sitting far apart. But, you know, they probably do need a break. Kazooie seems like someone who values her space. Maybe it's a little exhausting being in a backpack for, you know, 8 hours a day. Her wings kind of do the same thing that the crest on her head does. And I like how the bird wings in Animal Crossing are very like separated, or the colors are. I'm gonna try to kind of do a little eyeshadow here, but it might be a little too subtle for the camera to pick up. But I sort of used a lighter color again to pick up the red. Okay, so Isabel is kind of a light yellow color on her base. think I had another color there and it smudged a little, but that's okay. And especially lighter colors, when they go down, because they're so wet, it kind of makes the paper see-through and it can look a lot darker and grayer than it actually will be when it dries. Oh, do you recognize this one from your mix? I definitely asked Dylan to not go too crazy because it was such short notice. I want that a little yellower, so I'll just layer some yellow on top. Her bangs are more of a tan color. I don't actually know if Isabel wears her little, her green outfit in New Horizons, but I'm sure she still has it, so. Oh, whoops. Looks like that did not lube. There we go. Not sure what that other song. I think that was a Bedouin Sound Clash album. So I'm going to kind of make it a little more neutral with this skin tone. Again, it looks really gray right now. trying to find the angle where I can draw and also you can see it. There we go. Now, Banjo is a really dark brown, so he's going to kind of look a little out of place, but I'm going to see if I can kind of put down this brown color and then lighten it up. The less layers of color you have on there in the first place, the easier it is to do stuff like that. With these light colors, they're the ones that are going to be most likely to show up with streaking when you go over pencil lines, so you just want to be careful not to just like drag it across pencil lines. Now, does Banjo have brown? Yeah, he has brown arms and like tan paws, I think. And he has tan feet with huge toes. I think Reed classically described Banjo as someone's uncle who wants to look cool, and I've never gotten that out of my head. I've never actually played a Banjo-Kazooie game, but I'd probably like them because I like platformers. Oh, thank you. You remember the exact quote. turns out rare is super cool. Bright blue eyes. It's not quite dark enough. Yeah, his backpack is kind of the same color as his eyes, so I'll just use that. And the foreground, we want to make the darkest green. And we can kind of just scramble this in because it doesn't really have to have an even texture, and we're going to go over it again. So I'm putting some of my markers aside because I'm going to start going in with colored pencil. Mostly to start, just a brown pencil to do some outlining. Gotta get it really sharp. And once I have this outlined, I'll probably adjust some of the shading, you know, make things darker where it needs to be, and go adding in some highlights as well. Whoops. Oh, Gino. I'm completely covering what I'm doing, so whoops. Hello, Indoto. I'm probably going to leave the background lines as they are. I would adjust my camera to make it focus in a little bit better on this, but drawing. Oh, thank you. So what would you all be if you were Animal Crossing animals? Because I already said mine. Oh, a squirrel! I have Hazel in my village, and I love her. Crow is definitely a good one. When I was drawing some of my characters as Animal Crossing people, I almost chose Crow for one, but I kind of decided that she wasn't cool enough for a crow, so I made her a woodpecker instead. Not that woodpeckers aren't cool, they're very cool. Is Static a mouse or a squirrel? I'm gonna go do some light lines on these rocks, but I don't want them to stand out too much. Okay. Isabel has a plaid pattern on her shirt, doesn't she? Okay, it is plaid, so I'm gonna do a little bit of that with the pencil. And Banjo's eye is looking kind of creepy there. He should have probably had one here. And I think I'm gonna have to add a little bit of shading under there to make it a little less freaky looking. Or maybe more freaky looking, who knows? Charlie was watching me draw him. He was like, those are two styles that mesh very strangely. But I think Kazooie turned out cute, so. I will do a little outlining on the background. Hey, maybe Banjo and Kazooie could be added. They're in Smash. Yeah, pale purple is great to do like little rim lighting effects. Everyone loves a good rim lighting effect. Instantly makes stuff look 50% cooler at minimum. Does it make sense? Doesn't matter, does it look cool? If there is an amiibo for Banjo and Kazooie, I am not up on the amiibo stuff at all. So for the background stuff, I'm a lot looser because it's in the background. And you don't want a lot of detail there, because then it looks like it's supposed to be the focus. Check to see my actual camera angles. There we go. So, depending on what my goals are, this might be it. But I can also add highlights a lot with, you know, white highlighter, which I think a lot of people do. Where is it? This might also be how I kind of try to fix Gino's situation up here. Poor Gino. You can hear my cats in the background begging for dinner because it's after 2 p.m. and that means they want to get fed. Oh, I'm in Arizona, so it's actually after 3. It's like just after 3:30 here. But I don't want to add too many white highlights to this one. So I might just kind of try to fix Gino's problem. The water is so reflective over here. Well, I think that's about finished. If this were for something like a project, I'd probably go in and do a lot of digital touch-ups and, you know, add a lot of shading and stuff here and there, but like actual lighting. But for a demo, I probably won't do that because I'd want to experiment a lot. And yeah, I don't know if that would be very very interesting to watch. Oh, thank you. Oh, a seaplane. They look like, let's see, let's try to sketch that somewhere like, oh, they have their big pontoons and like, that, I think. So yeah, let's put that in the background. Little dodo air delivery. Like tailspin. That's what it always makes me think of, just tailspin. The seaplane is very far away and very large. John Maker, was there a Planes 2? Oh, Planes 2 Fire and Rescue. Okay. I've seen the original Cars, and that was where my Pixar Vehicles franchise tapped out. So I did get another. There were a lot of really good requests. One of these villagers was almost Billy from Saw, which I would think was one of the people who got eviscerated, but it turns out that's the name of the puppet, which I thought his name was Jigsaw. So he was almost one of these villagers. But I ran out of time when doing the sketch. So that was one of the requests, but my coworker Tony requested a disgustingly buff snail, so I think I'm going to attempt that in the last 15 minutes here. I just gotta find some paper. You'd think I would have it everywhere here, but I don't. Oh, are you saying my counter is granite? No, it is very much not. Okay, I needed some reference here because I don't know what snails look like. So I can't see the chat for a second. All right. So I'm gonna start out with he's got little eye dots here, and his hair is very triangular. And snails actually have tentacles on their lips. So, and he has a big shell and a big but well, snails don't have feet, so we're just gonna leave that. There we go. So this snail's name is Chad, and he has a friend who doesn't have a shell, so does have glasses though. And that his friend is a slug, and his name is, I guess, that's my disgustingly buff snail. Yeah, it says he's got a little top reach on my drum. So I think that's about it for this. I hope my camera issues were not too bad. But if people want to see it again sometime, I can try to figure out something a little better and a little less like this. Yes, Tony, you can definitely have this drawing. So, well, thank you everyone for watching and being in my chat. It was a lot of fun. Oh, is this getting signed? Yes, I will proudly sign this. This is 2020, so you know what date it was. You all know this was a pandemic fever drawing. So, alright, thank you all. Bye!